Welcome to lesson 7. In this lesson we are going to explore graphical capabilities of EVNG and some menus which are available on the left side. As you can see, I have already prepared you a topology which we will try to explore and understand how to build something similar or something more complex in this lab. If you go to the left side of the menu, you can see that there is a light mode and dark mode. If you click once again, we will shift to the light mode so that you see better what is going on the screen. As you can see, we have a topology where we have a switch, cables, two servers, some circle which contains interfaces, switch, and the network with a subnet mask of 24. Then we have in the squares on the left the configuration of server 1, and on the right side the configuration of the server 2, like the IP address, the services which are active on that server, and what kind of services are available and their respective port numbers. If you right click on the server 1 icon and select edit, you will be able to change the name of the server, change the CPU number that it uses, and change the RAM quantity that it was assigned, and change the number of the Ethernet ports. Then you click on save and the new server will be saved with a new configuration, and then you can start it up. To start the server, we'll just click on the start menu from the opened list. To stop, we will click on the stop. To wipe the configuration, we will click the wipe, but in this case the EVNG cannot wipe the Windows Server config, but can wipe devices like Cisco switch, Cisco router, etc. You can export the configuration to EVNG. We will talk about it on another lesson. And you can make a capture of the Wireshark, which we also will explore on the next lesson. You can delete the device by clicking on delete, and the EVNG will remove it from the interface. Now let's try to understand how can we draw something similar like this so that we can save it to understand the topology that we are going to build, or to present it to somebody else so that somebody else will understand what we are going to build or what we have already built. If we'll right click and say custom shape, we are able to select a type like a square or circle. Let's say circle, give it a name, let's say circle 1. Border type solid or dashed, border color and background color, and save. We can change the size of it by dragging it outside or inside. We can say edit again and change the border color from here. Let's say to change it to some blue. We can change the inner color. Let's say something like this. And as you can see on the picture, its border color and inner color or fill color was changed. We can change the border type from solid to dashed. We can change the width, make it wider, or we can make it thinner. Z-index we will explore also now. Let's add one more shape. Let's say square, and give it a name like SQ1 and save. The square you can make more square or look more like a rectangle. if we locate the rectangle on the current circle, you see that the circle is above the rectangle. We can change this behavior by clicking on the rectangle and saying edit, or we can say bring to front. The square now is in front of the circle. Let's click edit and check, for example, the index. We can say 1. Click save. Nothing changes. Let's add one more shape. Let's say circle with this kind of color and say save. As you can see, by default, it goes to the back of the two objects. Let's click edit and say the index is 0. 0 puts it on the top of the previous circle, but still behind of the square. If we change the index to 1, nothing happens. If we change index to 2, we can see that the new created circle is on the top of the both objects. Why? Because white square has index of 1, but the new purple circle has index of 2. So I think you now can see how to use the indexes. Now let's add an object like maybe switch. Let's say node IOL. Let's say save. If we add a switch on the top of the circle, you can see it goes on the surface of the circle. If we move it on the square, you see that the rotor becomes behind the square because the z index of the rotor is also -1. If we say to the circle send to back, we can see that the rotor now is on the forehead of that circle. If we edit it, we can see it has a z index of 0. What does it mean? It means that the rotor has a z index of 1 now. What about this? Edit. It has a z index of 1. This one has z index of 0. This one has z index of -1. So the rotor looks like has a z index of 0. So you plus minus understand how to manipulate with the shapes. Let's try to understand how can we write some text. We can right click and say text. Then maybe we can write something xxx and say save. And we will see text here. In order to increase its size, you can drag it like down. If you drag it up, the size will decrease. If you drag it right side, you will increase the size of the label. You will just make it wider. If you drag it left, you will make it more narrow. Let's click edit and we can change the background color. We can change the text color. We can make it bold or italic. We can align it. We can change the Z index also, and we can make it transparent. If we make it transparent, it looks sometimes more nice. Let's make it non-transparent for now. You can also rotate it. As you can see, you are able to rotate the object. Let's save it. But you are not able to rotate it using mouse. You are able to rotate it only using the menu option. Let's say edit, and we can rotate it more. We can give it a name, but name here doesn't play any role. Whatever you do in this menu, you should click Save so that the changes will take effect and you will be able to return to the main screen. Okay, I think now it's plus minus clear. How can we create a design something like we see on the topology? Now let's go through some menus on the left side. If we drag our mouse to the left side, we will see the nodes option. If we click it, we will see the nodes that are available in our topology, like WinServer 1, WinServer 2, switch, and router R4, which we just added. Their boot images, their CPU that they use, RAM that they use, Ethernet port number, type of the console like VNC or Telnet or RDP, the icon which is being used, which we can also change from here or from the main screen, startup configuration, if any, which we will discuss on the next lesson, and the action which you can do like start, stop, erase, export, interfaces, and edit. Let's close this menu and go to the next menu, which shows networks. We have just one bridge, which is this one. Startup configs. This menu we will explore on the next lesson. Configured objects. You can see that we have different objects with different IDs and their names. So name is displayed here. If you remember, we gave some names like square, circle, one. So you can see their name here so that you can distinguish them here. On the third column, you can see the type, and on the text column, you can see what text is written in that object. And you can delete them from here. You can click on refresh topology if you see that there are some glitches which didn't take effect and you don't see them. You can zoom in or zoom out to increase the displayed size of the objects on your screen. You can click on the status and you can see the EVNG version, CAMO version, KSM status, CPU limit status, your role, the CPU usage of the EVNG, how much it is loaded, the memory usage of the EVNG. You may have noticed that I didn't start any nodes. That's why the CPU usage is very low and the memory usage is very low, because these two values now are just being consumed by the EVNG itself and not any other objects like router or switch or computers. This is the swap memory usage, disk usage. This is the space which is being used on the EVNG disk. So I have around 300 gigabytes and only 60% of them is used. Running IOL nodes, running Dynamips nodes, running Camo nodes, running Docker nodes, running VPC nodes. These are all zero, nothing is running. Let's close this one. Let's click on lab details and we can see we have an ID for this lab and the name CCT Homework Design for YouTube channel. We can lock the lab. If we lock the lab, we cannot change, move, do anything. Let's unlock it. Dark mode and light mode you have already seen. You can close the lab. Let's close it and you can see the list of labs here. Now let's open it back. Let's say open and the lab will be opened. You are not able in Community Edition to open more than one lab at the same time. So if you want to open a new lab, which you already worked with previously, you need to close the existing one. You can log out from the EVNG, which we are not going to do it here now. Let's see more actions tab. From more actions tab, you can see we can start all nodes, stop all nodes, wipe all nodes, console to all nodes, like CLI to all nodes. This console is only working when the node is powered on. and only for those nodes which support console. Export all configs. We will explore it in the next lesson. Edit lab. Let's say edit lab. You can change the path where the lab is stored, name of it, version, author, description, task, etc. Set node startup config to be exported. We'll explore it on the next lesson. Set node startup config to none. Delete all startup configs. These are also we'll explore on the next lesson. I think that's all that we have in the community edition. And if you have any questions, you can write them in the comments section of this lesson. See you in upcoming lesson. If you don't want to miss any new lessons on the channel, please like and subscribe. See you in upcoming lessons.